Well, good afternoon, summer cohort of the 2022 online course redesign and faculty certification program. I am excited to be coming to you today for our first Tuesday tune-in. How exciting is that? Well, these things are, they're multi-purpose, right? So the first purpose, A, is to kind of humanize your digital instructor, if you will. So finding a way to connect to your students in a manner that's a little less text-based and a little less grady, a little less robots in space looking at your schoolwork kind of a thing, and more of a human side of things is always a good idea. So I would definitely say finding a way, whether it be audio, video, even just a note, a way to connect to your students on a semi-regular basis can be a good thing for you in your online courses. So during our time in the cohort, we'll be having Tuesday tune-ins. And for this week, I want to touch on a couple of things. First, kind of some housekeeping things to make sure we get started. But then B, I want to talk about the different types of template courses that we have to offer at SHSU Online. And the one you're going to be currently working and interacting with in the cohort where you're an instructor, I'll show you. But then I want to show you two other options that you have access to should you need to. And we'll get there. But I digress. Let's start with kind of some recaps, if you will. I wanted you all to know that I have posted the orientation recordings of our orientation webinars can be found in the course information section of the online course redesign and faculty certification summer 2022 course. You'll just click on course information and scroll on down to web meeting recordings. And on that page, there will be two Kaltura embedded videos that you can play either one of them, option 1 or option 2. They both have the same content, while they might have different questions from attendees. Then below is the slide deck for our orientation session as well. Keep in mind, that's there for you. Remember, should you have any questions while you're in the cohort, you can post them here in that virtual office discussion forum that's also available via the course information area. So let's talk about what we've got coming up, right? Coming due this Thursday are the activities in the Start Here unit. So make sure, if you haven't already, start by going through the syllabus, but then check out Start Here and go on into your read through all the things in Start Here, make your way through them, and then make sure to turn in the pre-assessment activity, submit the Introduce Yourself discussion, and then do the pre-course check. So that being said, make sure you work your way through all three of those in that order, and then move on into modules when you're ready. But that's kind of my little update for that. That's our due date coming up for this Thursday. Remember that on Sunday, we have our due date for our activities inside Module 1. So make sure that by Sunday at 10, you've made your way through Module 1 and turned in those activities. All right, so that being said, remember these deadlines are not hard and fast. I'm not going to take away your birthday or your firstborn child. These are just ways that I'm giving you some practice to communicate with your own students. All right, so let's talk about the template courses. This course that we're in right now is the student course, right? This is the course where you're going to be doing the majority of your work. The template course that you're in is a place where you can actually start to thinking about building out the rest of your own online development. We will have one activity that I'll have you do in the course there, but really it's more important for you to focus on as a way to think about designing your own future courses. However, for the purposes of this program, we only gave you one of the options of the template, and so we're going to look at that real quick right now. So I'm going to close this particular course and take you straight into our first template, which is that Ultra Design Template 1. You'll note that, oh nice, someone has gone in and added something. So we're going to delete that so you don't need to worry about it. A little fun stuff for you there. All right, so you're going to notice here in the Design Template 1 that you have the same kinds of stuff. You've got that course how toolkit, which has all the how-tos in it on how to add things. Then you've got your course information folder, which shows where the syllabus and that 27 support desk stuff, that pre-populated stuff that we already gave you. And then your Start Here unit with some orientation information and good stuff like that, and maybe a little pre-course check, right? After that, you've got your modules, and this is laid out just like your cohort courses, right? It's got your modules learning module, and inside of that are multiple folders. The good news here is the way this one is particularly set up, that anything that I put inside of this modules, learning module that I've added to my course, inherits the navigation of that learning module. What does that mean? So that means were I to turn on my student preview inside this particular course, I will access it as a student just to show you. And inside this template, if I go to modules, I can start navigating through module 1 and going all the way into module 3 simply by using this right arrow. I don't have to exit out and go back to the next module. I can just continue working through my readings, my videos, my activities, and move module by module. So in essence, anything placed in that modules, whether it be module 1, module 2, here I am in module 1 assignment, I can skip past it just to show you. Here I am in the module 2 objectives right here. So I can, without having to skip out of module 1 and go to module 2, navigate, which is how that inherits the wonderful permissions of that learning module. So that's the default template we've given you in terms of the cohort. So that's your default template. I wanted to let you know that you have 2 other options that you can reach out to your instructional designer to talk about in terms of a course design standpoint. Now, this isn't every permutation for every course design setup. This is just 3 options to start with, right? So let's talk about them. That was option 1. Option 2 is Ultra Design Template 2, Electric Boogaloo. For those of you that are familiar with the breaking franchise, there's my dad joke for this particular Tuesday tune-in. Is set up a little differently. So whereas the first template was set up to have just one learning module with a bunch of different folders in it, they're all module 1, module 2, module 3. This separates out each module into its own learning module. So it chunks it out even more. So you can think about this as being designed, you'd have module 1, module 2, module 3, all the way to as many modules as you have in the course. If it's a 16-week course, you may even have 16 of those. But you'll see that they're set up in that way. And they've got the welcome and module content inside them. So that's another way that you can set up this content. Again, it comes with the Course How Toolkit. It even comes with a nice little walkthrough in your Start Here introduction video that you can watch and see how it's set up, just like in the other one. And then lastly, your third template option that you can talk to your designer about if you don't like either of those 2 is a more complex option, and that's Design Template 3. And sometimes we teach across topics, and there are multiple units in each topic. So how is that setup going to look? Well, I'll show you. Here I have in module 3, I have the same Course How Toolkit, the same Start Here. Then I have a module 1 and a module 2. Inside module 1, you'll notice that I have multiple units. So I have content inside that module that's segmented, that's separate, it's chunked inside that module, but it also inherits that module navigation. So here again is another example of how you might set up the design in your course. Same with module 2. So those are just some different template designs that you can think about when you're thinking about designing in the Ultra environment. I just wanted to share those with you as part of your first Tuesday tune-in. And I hope if you have any questions about the course, make sure to post them in the virtual office of the course under course information. You'll remember that's found by going into your cohort course and clicking on course information and accessing the virtual office. We've already had a really good question this week about VoiceThread and where that shows up in Ultra courses. I've gone ahead and replied to Karen Perry's post in the virtual office with a walkthrough of where you can find that in Ultra courses and how you can add that to your courses. So there's a nice little benefit for you there. I hope you all have a great week. I hope you've enjoyed this week's Tuesday tune-in. Next week, we'll have another one covering something different. I hope each week to touch on things that are important to you, that will be meaningful to you as you work your way through the cohort and indeed through this Ultra experience. It's new to me teaching it, so I'm sure there's going to be some bumps along the way. Just be patient with me as we work our way through the cohort, and I can't wait to keep learning from you as you find your way through. Thanks a lot and have a great week.